everybody, and welcome to another episode of EFL Teacher Talk with Sean G. I'm Sean Gallagher, your host, and I'm here to lead you through what we normally do here is we have 3 topics related to the EFL teaching industry. Today we have some really exciting topics, some awesome topics. Our teaching topic is phonics. That's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I think it's super important for any EFL program to get the phonics program right. So cool. That number 1 is phonics. Our business topic is we'll be talking about JUKUs, which are private, I guess, cram schools that most Japanese 5th and 6th graders go into, elementary 5, 6, and a lot of times that cuts into the eikaiwa market. Big problem for eikaiwa school owners, or JUKU years, for 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade elementary. And the last issue that we'll be talking about, the jobs hunting issue we'll be talking about today, is cover letters. Because I'm actually hiring right now, and I've been going through lots and lots of cover letters, and actually have I have many examples of some cover letters that I just really don't think are very good, actually. And I'd like to share that feeling with everybody out there so you cannot make the same mistake that some people are making when they apply for my job. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first topic today. Okay, teaching topic for today, phonics. Very important topic. I think people kind of almost misuse the word phonics. I think it really encapsulates a lot of different styles that teachers use when they're teaching EFL in their classrooms. So a couple of the questions that I got regarding phonics, specific questions were, number 1, do you teach long and short vowels together? Do you teach the hard G with the soft G or the hard C with the soft C? I'm not sure I know in North America, the hard G and the soft C is the difference between the sound. Let's say the hard C would be K and the soft C would be the S. So like a K, cat, or a S, circle, or G, grapes, J, giraffe, things like that. So the question was, do you teach long and shorts together when you're teaching those phonics? Do you teach the hards and the softs, or the G's and the C's? Another question I had was, do you teach the ABC song? So get right into it. At my school, the ABC song is prohibited. No ABC songs. Get that thing out of here. I hate that song. If I never hear that song again for the rest of my life, it'll be like too soon. And the reason I don't like it, it's obviously it's a cute song, it's a cute jingle and all that. The reason I don't like it from a pedagogical standpoint is that it seems that when EFL learners, and when I say EFL learners, I'm talking about, your eikaiwa types of classes where kids are going to be coming maybe once a week for their lesson, for a 50-minute lesson. And I've actually done the math on this. If they come once a week for a 50-minute lesson, how many hours is it in between when they're in your class and listening to your English and the next class? How many hours elapse? Okay, so that's 24 times 7 minus 1. It's 167 hours. So, there's not a whole lot of time in class to do things. So it seems like if we do things like the ABC song, and number 1, with the ABC song, the pronunciation's easy because it's A. It's not A. A is a lot harder for a native Japanese speaker than the sound A. So I think in Japan and probably many other countries, the ABC, the letter names, are a lot easier to say than the actual sounds that the letters make. So it seems like that information gets almost fossilized in their brain. It's really hard to go in there and say, oh, no, that's not an A. Now can you please remember that as A? So a little bit of a long explanation there. So no ABC songs. Also with the long and the short, when we're going through our drills. Okay, and second point here is when I'm going through my phonics chant with the kids, and I'm introducing this, I would always introduce this as grapes. I would never say grapes and then giraffe. I've worked at some schools that do it that way. Same thing over here, just one cat. That's all we need right there. And there's a reason for that too. And the reason is related to this book. Bum, ba, da, bum. This is Why Our Children Can't Read and What We Can Do About It. It's by Diane McGinnis, PhD. Wonderful book about phonics. Now this book, it tracks, and when we use the term phonics, I think we're using, a lot of times, we're using the concept of how spoken language maps onto a writing system. And that's what this book is excellent at talking about. So she goes on, so Diane McGinnis, Dr. Diane McGinnis, goes back and traces just the origins of written language. And she starts with ancient Sumerian, which was a lot like Egyptian in terms that it was, like the hieroglyphics, it was all meaning based. And then at some point around the world, everybody realized, oh, well, these meaning based writing systems are quite limited. So there was this revolution, and then everybody started making writing systems that replicated human speech. So they were phonetic. And then, we have, modern written languages. Almost all of them are phonetic in terms of when you write something, you're mimicking speech patterns. And now within the modern written languages, there's two types. There is a transparent writing system, and then there's also an opaque writing system. And the transparent writing systems are quite easy. If you're in Japan, this might be, the kanas, katakana, hiragana. These are transparent writing systems. When you read it, it's always going to be the same thing. Like, nori will always be nori. There's no other way to pronounce that. The same in Spanish, casa, that's casa, is always going to be casa. It's never going to be pronounced a different way. I know Korean is this way. I believe German is another transparent language, where it's quite easy to learn how to read these languages, because once you know all the sounds, you just map the sounds directly onto the letters, and it's a fairly straightforward thing. Going again. Okay, so in an opaque writing system, the phonemes that are attached to the letters, to the symbols, can sometimes change. And this is what happens in English, unfortunately. So when I'm teaching phonics to a beginning student, my focus is on kids. I think you can see here, we've got the woolly mammoth and the Mr. Cactus back up there. My focus is on kids. So when we initially introduce phonics, English phonics to kids, I very, very intentionally start with, I introduce English as if it were a transparent writing system, which of course it isn't. But it simplifies it for the kids. It allows them, it gives them a very low step to step into it, and it works out well for us. So I wouldn't ever teach, I wouldn't ever overload them with information at the beginning. So that is the answer to, do I teach at my school? Do we teach do we teach a clean version of the letters first? And the answer is yes. So this would be, apple, bird, cat, dog, elephant, and so forth. I actually have a teacher training video where I outline my method that I use for chanting. If anybody's interested, let me know and I'll post the link down below. Topic number 2. Topic 2, losing your students to JUKUs. Like I said in the intro, a JUKU is a private cram school in Japan. A lot of the elementary school students, they will have an entrance examination when they want to go into junior high school. That's called a juken. And in order to prepare for this entrance examination, the kids usually spend a minimum of 2 years prepping for it. Some kids do longer. I've actually seen kindergartners. I've actually lost kindergarten students to JUKU, which is obscene, borderline child abuse. But whatever, I'm not the parent. I can't make that call. So I got a question. How do we defend? How do we block against that? And I gave it some thought. I talked to our sales manager, And actually, there's really two methods that you can use to kind of defend your school against the JUKU. So number one is don't do anything. And I know that doesn't sound very good. And so what I mean by don't do anything is I actually I look for ways to replace the income. So at my school, we started other classes. So we used to be doing just Kiowa things, and then we expanded into the international preschool segment. That's turned out pretty well for us. So I'm not really that concerned actually about the JUKU problem. It's always been there. It's always been a pain. And it always breaks my heart too, just because you'll see kids who have a hunger for knowledge and they're doing so well at your school, and then you get the call. The mom calls in, sorry, Yotaru is going to go study for 3 years at JUKU, so we have to quit our English lessons. It's heartbreaking, and I feel bad for the kid. But from a business standpoint, it's horrible because you're losing 3 years of income from this student. At least 3 years, maybe more. So the one strategy is replace the income. So do something else to get enough income to just not even have to deal with it. So, and I know that's not an ideal situation. That's not an ideal solution for everybody. So, okay. So number two, the second way to fight against this JUKU problem, I think, is to be very, very proactive about educating your parents. I know there are some ETJ owners list members who are quite successful using this strategy. I know there's one gentleman, Ben Sheeran, up in Sendai, and I think he says that don't quote me exactly, so sorry, Ben, if I'm letting anything out of the bag, but he has a very robust junior high school program, and they put a lot of effort on it, and he doesn't really have a problem with losing kids around that age. So, and another solution that was actually suggested to us last year, and I haven't had the chance to follow up on it, is out-JUKU the JUKUs. Because what the JUKUs are doing is they're offering this test prep, and then they offer a substandard English language component to it. And a lot of parents just swallow that because they're like, well, whatever, I need the test prep, and the English is included, I'll just do that. So a couple of schools I know that they've become a JUKU almost. So they have a Japanese teacher, they're an English school, and then they hire a JUKU teacher to come in and teach some of those classes. So that's another potential solution as well, is hire Japanese people and essentially kind of out-JUKU the JUKUs there. Because the parents know that the quality of English lesson that they're getting at the JUKU is very low, but their priority is passing this test. So you have to kind of respect that as a business owner. So anyway, so good luck with the JUKU battles out there, and I hope we get some victories there. On to topic number 3. Topic number 3 today, Sean's job hunting tip for everybody out there who might be looking for a job. The issue today is cover letters. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm hiring right now. I'm going through tons and tons and tons of cover letters. And it's just absolutely appalling sometimes the lack of any sort of professionalism that some people put into their cover letters. So I thought I'd read a little bit of one. I'm going to leave all the personal info out, of course. And I'll tell you why I hate it so much. So let's, and actually I have it all, just let me pull it up here on this guy. Okay, so this is an applicant here, and it's going to read the title. Okay, so starts, Dear Sir, Madam, good day! Exclamation point. It is with great interest that I'm applying for the position of instructor. After reading the job description on your post, I thought it was an ideal match with my career aspirations. I have always wanted to work in company wherein I will be able to use and share my knowledge in the teaching field. I'll stop there. So when I get something like this, it's just a red flag right off. So number one, it's not addressed to me. I mean, this is clearly boilerplate language. If you can't be bothered to put the name of my school on your cover letter, 100% guaranteed, I am not interested in talking to you at all. Automatic, in the garbage, which actually makes my job a lot easier because I know I can sort things fairly easily. So tip number one, if you're not addressing the school by name, any decent school is probably going to chuck your resume. And number two, the very vague language, a great interest that I'm applying for the position of instructor. Instructor wasn't the language that was used on the job listing. So I'm sure that this is just clearly something that's being copied and pasted. After reading the job description on your post, I thought it was an ideal match with my career aspirations. Again, very, very vague language here. Could be applied to basically any position anywhere. So anyway, I know just by reading this that this is an applicant who doesn't put a lot of pride in their work, who wants to shotgun their resume out to as many as possible, and is this hope that thinks that it's some sort of lottery, that they'll get lucky and get a good job. And I think that's just a really kind of not effective way to go about job hunting, is to view it as a lottery or something like that. So stop. So to end on a positive note, if you want to get your resume read, please address the school by name, and even better, please put the actual title of the position in the way up top near the very beginning, and the likelihood of somebody getting through your cover letter and onto your resume goes up tremendously. So little tip there. Good luck to everybody there, and that. So thank you everybody for tuning in once again for another edition of EFL Teacher Talk with Sean G. We'll be coming at you every week with topics on teaching and business and job hunting. So if you're interested in any of those topics as it relates to the EFL industry, stay tuned to this channel. If you have any comments or questions, please hit me up on the comment section on this video. So everybody have an awesome week teaching, and I hope you have great classes this week. So until next week, signing off.